Meghan and Harry, stop blaming everyone. Why have they never sinned? Looks like they need to get closer to home. Hello and welcome to Princess Diana channel. Also, in the beginning, William and Kate were advised to throw them out of Han's palace after their relationship soured. Then the horribly racist royal family kicked them out of the family and, eventually, the UK. Now, they'll try to pretend they're still unlucky with the timing of their startup, which in the case of Spotify was doomed from the start. Harry and Meghan, victims of these fates. There has to be someone else. Spotify ended their relationship and £18 million contract with Meghan artists after one episode. The fact that the late Queen died in the middle of episode 12, so out of respect, they had to take a short break before the mourning period ended, affected the publicity and made them feel embarrassed. Their interview with Oprah Winfrey caused a lot of negativity. They did so in March 2021, when they claimed to be royals, and later clarified that it wasn't the late Queen or Prince Philip who were trimming more hair. Racing raised questions about the skin color of their unborn child and, in fact, sparked a firestorm of racism. Oh, we misunderstood the situation. It was all thanks to it being overshadowed by the poor health of the Duke of Edinburgh, who passed away shortly afterwards. Obviously it had nothing at all to do with inflicting so much pain on the elderly Queen when her husband of 73 years was so sick in the hospital, and their attempts to rebrand themselves as global philanthropists, bringing their celebrity sheen and magnificent to help charities raise the MO, well, that was complicated by COVID-19, which followed within just a few weeks of their departure as working royals back in March of 2020. And of course it meant that everybody had to stay at home and work on their sourdough. And thanks to the economy streaming giants like Netflix, with whom they do still have that one big deal reportedly worth around £78 million, and Spotify can't really throw around the money that they once could. Reportedly, Netflix is also not planning to renew their deal with Meghan and Harry when it expires in 2025. Oh, poor Meghan and Harry. They try very hard to start their careers after escaping the royal family, but every time they are stopped in some way. A source in they appeared in the newspaper and said that they are really unhappy. The ultimate reason for their unhappiness is that these two simply weren't set up for success on Spotify. A source close to Meghan and Harry's artistic production spoke to People magazine and said that it was just the beginning of officially setting up the country, and they were on shaky ground before the paint dried. Although Arch Audio has only released 12 episodes of Archetypes for Spotify, a source noted, they have a lot of ideas and push them forward, but sources say there is too much bureaucracy between Spotify, Meg and Harry. Things are moving slowly. Emotions. Although Spotify reportedly funded a recording studio in their Montecito mansion, and they hired experienced producers to work with them and, in some cases, even interviewed guests, both parties were moving too slowly, he said. Then again, it's always someone else's fault. I mean, when will Harry and Meghan realize maybe they need to be closer to home? This is nothing new, although we've all seen it before. Harry's backup book seemed too long. It's always someone else's fault, of course, usually William's or his dad, and sometimes the Harry and Meg series feels like a victim's orgy, and they talk about problems too. They thought the Meghan campaign was over. Harry believes the royal family is full of unconscious bigotry, saying sometimes it is part of the problem rather than part of addressing racism. They also accuse the British and the media of inherent racism. Fortunately, while the Queen of the Lake District never had to endure the renaming of her beloved Commonwealth as the 2.0 Empire, Meghan and Harry have blamed everything from bragging rights to colonial history to the alleged abuse. Meghan said, "Obviously, people are very aware of my race now, because when I went to the UK they met each other about it, but before most people didn't treat me as a black woman." Well, if I remember correctly, and I believe I do. Meghan's legacy, her multifaceted legacy, was celebrated. People were happy. This was real progress, equality in the 21st century, when it represents a part of Britain. Charles, Camilla, or even William could never achieve that from Brixter. Still, Meghan was glorified, but I think the Queen of the Lake said so. Fondest memories vary, but that's not to say it'll be interesting to see what happens next when Meghan and Harry have to change in the public eye. Next month, they will fly from their California mansion to the Olympics, which will be an Olympic-style men's and women's competition. Of course, it was founded by Harry, who claims it's a project very close to his heart. The event is set to start on September 9th, the day after the anniversary of Queen Lake's death, and it will be the perfect time for Meghan and Harry to make sure all the attention is on each other. But I don't think we should wait for that to happen right now. If I come across anyone who says they're a huge Meghan fan, I think they'd be wrong. Maybe even Sugar. A man who believes every word that comes out of his mouth. Well guys, if you're a big fan of Meghan, you're welcome. You can trust what you want about how you feel, and it doesn't matter to those of us who disagree. The truth is, we are a lot more than you, but if the sugar balls met the royals. Of course, apart from Meghan and Harry, who I think will find themselves fairly low-key, with no sense of fame or importance, who are kind, thoughtful, and dedicated to helping others. They go there and meet normal people there, they shake hands with people and talk to the sick and wounded. Homeless people are less fortunate than themselves and they really care. They are not famous people. They don't care about being famous. His life is not like that, but you know how it is. One who is desperate for fame. Well, it would be Meghan herself. Just look at her behavior, her attitude towards people she considers inferior. At least. Harry is happy when he can talk to disabled children and wounded veterans, but I haven't seen Meghan show an ounce of compassion for anyone. She is such a family Evie, she treats the royal family like dirt and quickly loses any friends she might have had. And I heard that Disney boss Bob Iger also terminated Disney's support for indie games because of Meghan's behavior. I mean, how depraved has she been now? So guys, if you want to keep loving Meghan, do it. But please don't bother anyone else with these stupid questions. The fact that Meghan is single has nothing to do with people not liking her. In fact, people don't like him because of all his lies. I mean 17 of them on this Oprah Winfrey show alone, which by the way has stood the test of time. The latest post says that because of Meghan's bad behavior, Disney has decided to withdraw its support of the Invictus Games and Spotify has had to pull them out. I mean, remember what they call these two crooks. They're known the world over as crooks and swindlers, and nobody wants anything to do with Meghan. I mean, please note that there was nothing wrong with his behavior. So Zucker should stop talking about the royal family because it's clear Meghan's own country can't take her destructive nature. And let's not forget the general public. Thanks to Meghan, you can now clearly see why Harry was so eager to leave the royal family, and now that much of his horrible behavior has been hidden from the family and the monarchy. But now he's lonely and doesn't like it when the going gets tough. As we found out, Harry is indeed allergic to periods. Bottom line. It doesn't matter who you are or what place you have in life. We all have to follow some rules. These are the rules that promote world peace. Well, Harry doesn't care about those rules and doesn't feel like he has to follow them. That is why he wanted to leave the kingdom, because its rules were too difficult for him. He is such a selfish person and thinks that the rules apply to everyone, not him. Can you imagine what kind of world we would live in if I did everything I could? So, before anyone criticizes the royal family, they should think about the behavior of their idols. The royal family does fantastic work for charities, the UK, and the Commonwealth of Nations. No one even knew Meghan was black. I mean, she's not really black, she's biracial, and she only starts talking about it when she thinks it's going to help her path. When Harry was in the army, he had to be reprimanded for using a racial slur to refer to his army comrades, but Meghan is still with him. So I don't think she's too worried about racism, or she'd break up with him as soon as she found out. What do you think of Harry and Meghan? Please let me know what you think in the comments below. If you find my video helpful, don't be afraid to share it with your friends and family who need it and subscribe to Princess Diana channel for more updates in the future. Thanks for watching, have a great week and we'll have you covered in the upcoming videos.